Namaskar and welcome to India This Week. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. In the next half an hour, we take you closer to the big stories of the week, stories that map the rise of New India, developments that portray how India is on the move despite all hurdles and challenges, glimpses of rich cultural diversity that makes Incredible India a lived reality, and how celebrations of 75th year of independence continue as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Let's begin with the top stories of the week. Prime Minister Narendra Modi puts forth concerns of India and the developing countries at COP26 in Glasgow, reiterates that developed countries must fulfill their commitments, says India to become carbon net zero by 2070. Prime Minister Modi holds review meeting with districts having low vaccination coverage, cautions against complacency creeping in after India surpassed more than 100 crore jabs nationwide. PM Modi visits Kedarnath Dham, offers prayers at Kedarnath Temple, inaugurates Shankaracharya Samadhi, says the entire life of Adi Shankaracharya was an extraordinary one devoted to welfare of humanity, lays foundation stone of various developmental projects. Festival of Lights, Deepavali celebrated across India. Ayodhya's Deepotsav creates new records. Prime Minister Modi celebrates Diwali with Jawans in J&K. World leaders greet India and Indians on Deepavali. And Ministry of Health and Family Welfare seeks Jan Bhagidari towards observance of COVID-appropriate behavior ahead of Chhath Puja, releases special song by renowned folk classical singer Sharda Sinha. And let's first see how India has been on the move this week. Prime Minister Narendra Modi this week reviewed the pandemic situation in over 40 districts in India that have reported a low vaccination coverage. The meeting included districts with less than 50% coverage of the first dose of vaccine and low coverage of the second dose as well. His message to officials was clear and concise. Knock on every door so that households get the security net of double dose COVID vaccine.
India's battle against COVID-19 pandemic is underway, and the most potent weapon in this battle is vaccination. Several states in the country have achieved 100% first dose being given, and the second dose is also catching pace. However, some districts of some states are lagging behind with regard to vaccination. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a review meeting with district magistrates of over 40 districts having low vaccination coverage in Jharkhand, Manipur, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Maharashtra, Meghalaya and other states. The meeting included districts with less than 50% coverage of the first dose and low coverage of the second dose of COVID vaccine. The district magistrates gave an account of challenges being faced in their districts, which has resulted in low vaccination coverage. The DMs also shared good practices adopted by them, which has led to increase in coverage. PM urged the administrators to work more on new innovative ways to increase vaccination in their districts. PM conveyed that even the better performing districts had similar challenges, but they overcame those challenges through determination and innovation.
कोरोना से देश की लड़ाई में एक खास बात ये रही कि हमने नए नए समाधान खोजे, इनोवेटिव तरीके आजमाए और हर इलाके में लोगों ने अपने दिमाग से नई नई चीजें की है। आपको भी अपने अपने जिलों में वैक्सीनेशन बढ़ाने के लिए नए नए इनोवेटिव तरीके पर और ज्यादा काम करना ही होगा। नया तरीका, नया उत्साह, नई टेक्निक, ये इसमें जान भरती रहेगी।
The Prime Minister asked the district officials to make different strategies for each village, each town in the districts if need be. PM also warned against rumors and urged officials and chief ministers to make every effort to dispel the same, including taking help from religious leaders.
मुझे पता है कि आपके सामने एक चुनौती अफवाह और लोगों के भ्रम की स्थिति भी है, और जैसे जैसे हम आगे बढ़ेंगे शायद ये समस्याएं हमें कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड एरियाज में सामने आएगी। इसका एक बड़ा समाधान है कि लोगों को ज्यादा से ज्यादा जागरूक किया जाए। आप इसमें स्थानीय धर्मगुरुओं को भी जोड़े, उनकी मदद ले, उनके छोटे छोटे वीडियो बनाए 2-2, 3-3 मिनट के, और उनके वीडियो पॉपुलर करे, हर घर में उनके धर्मगुरुओं के वीडियो पहुंचे, धर्मगुरु उनको समझाएं, इसके लिए आप प्रयास किए।
Prime Minister asked the officials to take steps to take people to the vaccination center. PM urged the health workers to reach every house with passion. Har Ghar Tika, Ghar Ghar Tika. PM also asked to go in the spirit of Har Ghar Dastak, knocking on every doorstep to ensure full vaccination.
हर घर दस्तक, इसी मंत्र के साथ हर उस घर में दस्तक दी जाएगी जहां अभी तक दोनों टीके का संपूर्ण सुरक्षा कवच नहीं मिला है। अब हर घर टीका, घर घर टीका, इस जज्बे के साथ हम सबको घर घर पहुंचना है। साथियों, इस अभियान की सफलता के लिए हमें कम्युनिकेशन के लिए टेक्नोलॉजी से लेकर अपने सोशल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का भरपूर उपयोग करना है। टीकाकरण से जुड़े कम्युनिकेशन को जितना हम सरल रूप में करेंगे, स्थानीय भाषा बोलियों में करेंगे। मैंने देखा है कुछ लोगों ने तो गीत बनाए हैं, ग्रामीण भाषा में गीत बना दे, गीत गाते 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 वैक्सीनेशन की बात कर रहे हैं। इतने बेहतर परिणाम आएंगे। साथियों, हर घर दस्तक देते समय पहली डोज के साथ साथ आप सभी को दूसरी डोज पर भी उतना ही ध्यान देना होगा।
PM told the district magistrates of these 40 districts to recall the first day of their job and asked them to instill that spirit in them to strengthen COVID vaccination drive.
आप कल्पना कीजिए, जिस दिन पहला था ड्यूटी का, जिस दिन आप मसूरी से निकले थे, ट्रेनिंग से निकले थे, आप कौन सी भावनाओं से भरे हुए थे, आपका जज्बा कौन सा था, कौन से सपने थे। मुझे पक्का विश्वास है आपके मन में उस समय आपके मन में यही रहा था कि आप कुछ अच्छा करेंगे, कुछ नया करेंगे, आज समाज के लिए जी जान से जुटेंगे। फिर एक बार उन सपनों को याद कीजिए, उन संकल्पों को याद कीजिए और हम तय करें समाज में जो पीछे हैं, जो वंचित हैं, उनके लिए अपना जीवन समर्पित करने का इससे बड़ा कोई अवसर नहीं हो सकता।
PM made it clear that COVID cases are once again on the rise in several countries of the world and warned against complacency creeping in after India surpassed more than 100 crore jabs nationwide. PM urged all to keep the good work going. PM's review meeting took place immediately after he returned to the country in the morning after taking part in the G20 summit and COP26 summit. Without being tired or taking a break, Prime Minister held a review meeting with districts having low vaccination through video conferencing. Bureau Report, DD India.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday offered prayers at Kedarnath temple. Similar prayers were also offered in celebrations held at 12 Jyotirlingas and Char Dhams. All the events were linked to the main event presided over by Prime Minister at Kedarnath. PM invoked the great spiritual Rishi tradition of India. He said the new facilities such as shelters, facilitation centers will ease the lives of priests and devotees and allow them to fully immerse in divine experience of the pilgrimage. Prime Minister inaugurated Sri Adi Shankaracharya Samadhi and also unveiled the statue of Shankaracharya. Kedarnath has been witness to a new wave of development in the aftermath of the devastating floods of 2013.
सम करोति स शंकर, यानी जो कल्याण करे वही शंकर है। इस कल्याण को भी आचार्य शंकर ने प्रत्यक्ष प्रमाणित कर दिया। उनका पूरा जीवन जितना असाधारण था, उतना ही वो जनसाधारण के कल्याण के लिए समर्पित थे। भारत और विश्व के कल्याण के लिए अहर्निश अपनी चेतना को समर्पित करते रहते थे।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi paying homage to Adi Shankaracharya, one who dedicated his entire life to the welfare of humanity. Prime Minister inaugurated Adi Shankaracharya's Samadhi and unveiled his statue. Adi Shankaracharya established 4 maths or centers of learning. Paying homage to him, the Prime Minister said that he sacrificed everything to establish a tradition dedicated to the upliftment of society and mankind.
बाबा केदार के दर्शन के साथ ही अभी मैंने आदि शंकराचार्य जी की समाधि स्थान वहां कुछ पल मैंने बिताए। एक दिव्य अनुभूति का वो पल था। सामने बैठते ही लग रहा था कि आदि शंकर की आंखों से वो तेज पुंज, वो प्रकाश पुंज प्रवाहित हो रहा है जो भव्य भारत का विश्वास जगा रहा है। शंकराचार्य जी की समाधि एक बार फिर और अधिक दिव्य स्वरूप के साथ हम सबके बीच है।
The Samarth sect of Shaivism considers Adi Shankaracharya to be an incarnation of Lord Shiva. His extraordinary life was devoted to the welfare of common man. The Prime Minister said that amidst a society split by intolerance and hatred, Adi Shankaracharya's inspirational thought unites society.
जब भारत की जाति पंथ की सीमाओं से बाहर देखने की शंकाओं आशंकाओं को ऊपर उठने की मानव जात को जरूरत थी, तब समाज में चेतना फूकी और आदि शंकर ने कहा, न मे मृत्यु शंका न मे जाति भेद, यानी नाश विनाश की शंकाएं जात पात के भेद से हमारी परंपरा का कोई लेना देना नहीं है, हिस्सा नहीं है।
Prime Minister said that India no longer needs to be afraid of being bound by the limits of time. He also said that Adi Shankaracharya gave the mantra of economic and charitable progress. The Prime Minister said that Adi Shankaracharya is one of the inspirations of the new pledges that the country is taking under the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav campaign.
आदि शंकराचार्य जी को हम एक प्रकार से अपनी बहुत बड़ी प्रेरणा के रूप में देख सकते हैं। अब देश अपने लिए बड़े लक्ष्य तैयार करता है। कठिन समय और सिर्फ समय नहीं, समय की सीमा भी हम निर्धारित करते। मेरे भीतर से एक ही आवाज आती है, 130 करोड़ देशवासियों की आवाज मुझे सुनाई देती और मेरे मुंह से यही निकलता है, एक ही बात निकलती है, समय के दायरे में बंधकर भयभीत होना अब भारत को मंजूर नहीं है।
Referring to the philosophy of Sri Adi Shankaracharya, Prime Minister Modi said that Shiv is the embodiment of joy. Prime Minister Modi described knowledge as the path to freedom from difficulties.
With cameraman Praveen Giri in Kedarnath, this is Vishal Barrister for DD India.
Moving on, Defence Acquisition Council under chairmanship of Defence Minister Rajnath Singh accorded acceptance of a necessity for capital acquisition proposals for modernization and operational needs of the armed forces amounting to over 7,900 crore rupees. All of these proposals are under Make in India with focus on design, development and manufacturing in the country. Key approvals for procurement from domestic sources include 12 light utility helicopters from Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, Lynx U-2 fire control system from Bharat Electronics Limited, which will enhance the detection, tracking and engagement capabilities of naval warships, and midlife upgradation of Dornier aircraft from HAL to increase the naval capacity of maritime reconnaissance and coastal surveillance. As further impetus to Atmanirbhar Bharat, a global procurement case of naval guns has been foreclosed, with these guns quantity added to the upgraded super rapid gun mount being manufactured by Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited. These SRGMs provide niche capabilities of engaging the fast maneuvering targets using guided munitions and range extensions, and are to be fitted on the warships of the Indian Navy. And let's now look at themes of New India. The much-awaited COP26 Climate Leaders Summit took place earlier this week. Prime Minister Modi represented India at the summit. PM put forth the concerns of all developing countries at the summit, reiterating that developed countries must fulfill their commitments vis-à-vis finance and technology transfer. He makes the big announcement, says India to become carbon net zero by 2070.
विकासशील देशों की आवाज उठाना ये मैं अपना कर्तव्य मानता हूं।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi raising the voice of developing nations as he delivered India's national statement at COP26. He called for action since the spectre of climate change is threatening the very existence of many developing nations.
कई विकासशील देशों के लिए क्लाइमेट चेंज उनके अस्तित्व पर मंडरा रहा है, एक बड़ा संकट है। हमें दुनिया को बचाने के लिए आज बड़े कदम उठाने ही होंगे, यही समय की मांग है।
India's national statement reflected not just the country's commitment towards climate change mitigation, but also stressed on the need for accountable climate finance from the developed world. Prime Minister Modi even suggested holding those developed nations accountable who aren't doing their bit. He called for raising the collective ambition to tackle climate change.
क्लाइमेट फाइनेंस को लेकर आज तक किए गए वायदे खोखले ही साबित हुए हैं। जब हम सभी क्लाइमेट एक्शन पर अपने एम्बिशन बढ़ा रहे हैं, तब क्लाइमेट फाइनेंस पर विश्व के एम्बिशन वहीं नहीं रह सकते जो पेरिस एग्रीमेंट के समय थे। आज जब भारत ने एक नए कमिटमेंट और एक नई ऊर्जा के साथ आगे बढ़ने का संकल्प लिया है, तो ऐसे समय में क्लाइमेट फाइनेंस और लो कॉस्ट क्लाइमेट टेक्नोलॉजीज का ट्रांसफर और महत्वपूर्ण हो जाता है।
At the climate change session at the G20 summit also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi put across the voice of the developing nations. Describing climate justice as his responsibility, the Prime Minister said, and I quote, "By forgetting climate justice, we are not only doing injustice to the developing countries, but we are betraying the entire humanity. As a vocal voice of developing countries, India cannot ignore the neglect of climate finance by the developed countries. Without concrete progress on climate finance, pressuring the developing countries for climate action is unjust." Prime Minister suggested developed countries pledge to make at least 1% of their GDP available to finance green projects in developing countries. At the session on sustainable development at G20, Prime Minister said, "Extending the benefits of global recovery to all countries is a collective responsibility in which the role of G20 will be very important." Under Prime Minister Modi's leadership, the language of the Rome Declaration reflected the developed world's acknowledgement that it hasn't done enough.
In his first major overseas visit after the COVID-19 pandemic to multilateral forums like G20 and COP26, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi emerged as a force of uniting the developed and the developing countries and working for the global good. As he did this, he ensured that the perspective of developing nation on key issues was not only taken seriously but also acted upon. The hope is now that the Glasgow Declaration will heed Prime Minister Narendra Modi's call for climate action based on climate justice. With camera person Ravin Johar, this is Tapush Bhattacharya for DD India, Glasgow.
Moving on, time to find out who's the newsmaker of the week. And let's hear from former ICC umpire Simon Toffel, where he talks about his best moments as an umpire, why he left international umpiring at his peak and what is keeping him busy these days.
Mr. Simon Toffel is with us today from Australia. Welcome, sir. Welcome to DD India. First of all, how have you been doing? And I need to ask you this. Did you watch India versus Pakistan match? And Pakistan buried the ghost. And India, what do you think went wrong for them?
Abhishek, look, thank you for that kind introduction. And look, quite frankly, I think India have had a pretty good run in World Cup campaigns against Pakistan. So perhaps they were due for a loss. But I think there were some wonderful takeaways, not only just the fact that a great atmosphere and a great contest, but probably some of those scenes after the match of mutual respect and some great sportsmanship being shown between the two teams was probably my highlight to take away from that fixture.
First matches are always special. Simon, you were only 27 when you made your debut as an umpire in international cricket at very, very young age. But I want to ask you, when did you think of becoming an international umpire? What dragged you here? Were you always passionate about this role?
I'm passionate about cricket. I love the sport, but I started late as a player. I didn't start playing until about the age of 12. But I suppose my umpiring career, if I could call it that at that stage, was actually with Barry Knight. Now, Barry Knight, former England player, he owned an indoor cricket centre in a Sydney suburb where I played indoor cricket, and I started working there and doing some umpiring and earning $30 a night when I started out as a high school student. But I was more focused on playing than umpiring, and I suppose I'd describe myself as an accidental umpire. That when I had a back injury at the age of 20, after reaching a fairly good standard in junior cricket, I sort of looked at my options, and my fast bowling mate with my club side was hell bent on becoming an umpire, and he dragged me along to an umpiring course. We both sat the 4 nights, did the exam, and unfortunately my mate, he failed the exam and I managed to pass it. And as a university student at that stage, I thought, well, this might be a good way to earn some extra money. So had it not been for a friend and a colleague, a fellow player, dragging me along to an umpiring course, you and I would not be having this conversation. And something that was a hobby to a part-time job, then to a full-time job, it's been a tremendous journey so far.
And time now for a glimpse into images of incredible India. And as is his custom, Prime Minister Narendra Modi spent Diwali with soldiers at the frontiers. For the soldiers, it was an uplifting moment to have Prime Minister amidst them, motivating and encouraging them. Prime Minister carried with him greetings of the entire nation. Meanwhile, holy city of Ayodhya lit up with earthen lamps a day ahead of Diwali to mark the 5th edition of Deepotsav. This year, Ayodhya breached its own record of lighting 9 lakh diyas. The previous year, the majestic Ram Ki Paidi Ghat was dotted with colourful lights for the mega celebrations. The Ghat is the main venue of Deepotsav celebrations, was illuminated with 12 lakh earthen lamps on the banks of River Saryu. And leaders across the world also extended their wishes of Diwali. US President Joe Biden shared a picture celebrating Diwali with First Lady Jill Biden. President Biden said the festival of Diwali reminds us that from darkness there is knowledge, wisdom and truth. And US Vice President Kamala Harris and Australia's Foreign Minister Marise Payne also greeted India on Diwali. The International Film Festival of India on Friday announced the selection of films for the Indian Panorama section to be screened during the 52nd edition in Goa. The festival is being organized by Directorate of Film Festivals of India, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting in collaboration with the State Government of Goa from 20th to 28th November. The selected films will be showcased to all the registered delegates and representatives from the selected films during the 9-day-long film extravaganza in Goa.
Preparations are in full swing with little time remaining for the commencement of the 52nd International Film Festival of India in Goa this year. The spellbinding 51st edition in 2020 saw jubilant participation in the online format of open forums, workshops, masterclasses and discussions. The 52nd edition of IFFI 2021 is ready to revive the magic beginning 20th of November 2021. The 52nd edition has brought forth a platform with all the information about the festival. The platform will help cinema lovers to be acquainted with intrinsic details of the festival. Also setting a new precedent, IFFI has invited entries from the mainstream OTT platforms to participate in the festival. The move is anticipated to strike a chord with the audiences. The International Film Festival of India on Monday announced the selection of films for the Indian Panorama section to be screened during its 52nd edition in Goa. 25 films hut in the feature film section, whereas 20 non-feature films will be showcased. Non-feature films of cinematic, thematic and aesthetic excellence to promote the art of filmmaking. The feature film section will open with northeastern movie Same Khor made in Dimasa, a local language of the area. The non-feature section will be opened by director Rajiv Prakash's Ved, the Visionary. Both the feature and non-feature section has a selection of films from a myriad range of languages spanning Bengali, Gujarati, Kannada, Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu and Hindi. With this acclaimed popularity nationwide as well as among international cinema buffs, the much-awaited festival is ready to entice the audiences with its diverse assortment. Bureau Report, DD India.
The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has released an audiovisual song by renowned folk and classical singer Padma Bhushan awardee Sharda Sinha to seek Jan Bhagidari towards observance of COVID-appropriate behavior ahead of the Chhath Puja festivities. Let's listen in to the song and singer Sharda Sinha.
संक्रमण अभी खत्म नहीं हुआ है। आइए हम सब मिलकर कोरोना अनुकूल व्यवहारों का पालन करते हुए जिम्मेदारी से त्योहार मनाएं। त्योहार भी और कोरोना उचित व्यवहार भी। और हाँ, जल्द से जल्द टीके के दोनों खुराक लेना न भूलें।
And with that, we conclude this edition of India This Week. Namaskar.